Hey, it's Nikachu. Now, a few days ago, I went over what I thought was perhaps the most busted card to come out of Strixhaven, Clever Lumimancer. But since that video, I have read a lot of comments, and I've actually changed my mind about the power level of this card. Your feedback made me realize that I've completely misevaluated this. I thought Clever Lumimancer was going to be one of the best cards coming out of Strixhaven, but instead, this might be one of the most busted cards coming out this year! I miscalculated. I thought a 14 damage turn would be pretty good for Modern. No, fuck all that. This card can do turn 2 kills, and in millions of ways. You've all suggested many different ways that you can combo with this card to kill your opponent on the second turn. It could be as little as mutagenic growth, give the thing +4/+4, mutagenic growth +4/+4. You play the Boros Charm, gets another +2/+2. We're at 10 damage, but do double strike, and the opponent is dead. If your opponent goes turn 1, Clever Lumimancer, if you don't have an immediate answer, you are dead. You are absolutely crushed underneath this card. And as many people propose, there are many different ways of comboing with this. So it requires some free spells to be chained in the beginning. Something like Manamorphose. The other one is Mutagenic Growth. Another one could be Gutshot. Deal 1 damage to your opponent, but you get the free buff, +2/+2. And then you just have to double the amount of damage once Clever Lumimancer gets to 10. You can either double strike with Boros Charm or Team or Battle Rage. And I do believe that we do want to be using cards like this because they are still within the theme of the Prowess deck. They can still have application, not to mention Boros Charm is just fantastic. Deal 4 damage to the face whenever you want to. Also, you can give protection to your creatures against particular board wipes. This is a very flexible card. Now, some people have also brought up you could use Scale Up. Scale Up would significantly increase the power of not just Clever Lumimancer, but any of the other prowess creatures while still retaining their prowess ability. So you pay a green, it becomes a 6 power creature, plus it still gets prowess. That's going to deal a lot of damage. And between Clever Lumimancer, which gets +2/+2, when you play Scale Up, we're already at 8 power, and then when you play Assault Strobe, it'll become a 10/10 creature and you can deal double strike. So this is another really easy, clean way to kill on turn 2. I don't know if this would make the cut because I feel like Assault Strobe isn't very flexible. It is only good in the situation where your opponent has the guard down and you're attacking with your Clever Lumimancer, and you definitely know that you're going to kill that turn. The problem with something like Assault Strobe, in my opinion, is it's sorcery speed, so you have to sort of show your opponent that you're going to be doing this. Whereas something like Boros Charm and Team or Battle Rage, it's at instant speed, so you have some flexibility whether you want to play this or not, and which creature you want to put this on or not. A pretty common discussion point was, how do we abuse Storm with this card? Can we abuse Storm? Can we use something like Grape Shot in the deck? After all, we're playing things like Manamorphose, Gutshot, Mutagenic Growth. Maybe we'll chain some like Lightning Bolts together, Lava Darts, and then have a huge Grape Shot and therefore attack for a million with Clever Lumimancer because it counts Storm. It counts copies. And Grape Shot, when you storm off, it makes a copy, puts it on the stack. Will give the Clever Lumimancer +2/+2. My problem with Grape Shot, very similar situation with something like Assault Strobe, is that you basically have to go all in at sorcery speed. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's not that bad. Grape Shot can still contribute to a good chunk of damage. Not very good by itself, but you can like start pumping it up. But I think it has most synergy with only the Clever Lumimancer. It doesn't have any synergy with Monastery Swift Spear because like the copies don't matter, so all Grape Shot is like a pretty clunky card. Also doesn't have any synergy with Soulscar Mage. I mean, we are going Boros anyway, and we do have Leonin Light Scribe, which obviously is going to get pumped up and pump up everyone else. If we are playing with like a Storm card, maybe it's more viable than I think, but it's just awkward synergy between the red creatures and the white creatures. Another common fear is that Clever Lumimancer is not going to be able to stand the heat of all the 1 damage removal in the format. We're talking like Walking Ballista, Lava Dart, Gut Shots from the opponent. or even something like Ren and 6. I think it's less likely that you have to worry about that when you're on the play. On the draw, it's certainly going to be a lot worse. But not to mention, like, a lot of people are bringing parallels between Lumimancer and the Infect creatures. Like, the Infect creatures, they're hurting. They can't defend themselves very much from 1 damage removal. What would clever Lumimancer do? And I think a huge difference is that they have way more access to cards that are free that can protect it, things like Mutagenic Growth and Gut Shot, whereas Infect can only protect itself with Mutagenic Growth. But also by turn 2, basically anything will pump the creature up significantly. And yeah, you might be spending some spells to protect it, but the opponent is also spending spells to attack it. I think it will be a fair exchange. Not to mention, this is a must-kill card. Like, it's an absolute must-kill card. If you don't kill this thing, you're going to get steamrolled. And that's a big deal. And even if you do kill it, it's okay. I mean, it's the same thing like with the Is It Prowess decks, where they just have infinite creatures to back you up. So, okay, let's say you do kill this, you win the war. Well, there's Monastery Swiftspear, there's Soul Scar Mage, there's this Leonin Light Scribe that's going to be coming out. So they're going to have a density of more creatures coming out that is going to be the backup for Clever Lumimancer. See, the deck doesn't depend on it. It's a Prowess deck. You don't have to go all in on the Lumimancer. You could even go turn 1 Monastery Swiftspear, turn 2 Clever Lumimancer, especially if you know what you're up against, so that you can leave mana up to protect it against whatever spells your opponents are about to cast. Prowess doesn't need to go all in on turn 2 or turn 3. They can be more patient with their spells. If you look at the Abosh Prowess deck, I mean, it's all about patience. It's about taking your time and waiting for the right spot. If your opponent has all the shields down, then you go all in and you kill your opponent on the spot. One criticism I will concede is that this creature technically doesn't attack for anything, so you have to cast spells in order to get in damage. There's no way around it. So your opponent can freely block this thing, unlike something like Soulscar Mage or Swiftspear, where if you have a 1 toughness creature, you don't want to block any of those creatures because you can't even beat the body anyway. But if you were to make a chump block with anything, force the opponent to cast a spell on Clever Lumimancer, at least you're exchanging the creature that you used to block with the spell that pumped up the Lumimancer. Still, that is a concession you might have to make in certain games so that you have very consistent turn 2 kills. I heard people, they're playtesting, they're proxying this deck up, and it's explosive. The turn 2 kills you can get out of this thing with Clever Lumimancer, they come in many combos. Will this be the pressure that finally pushes Metamorphose to get banned? Will they just ban Clever Lumimancer on the spot? Am I just making this up? Am I just BSing here? Apparently, a lot of other people don't see this the same way I do. I think what it comes down to is that if you had a good game against Prowess decks because you're a deck playing tons of removal and you didn't care about them, nothing has changed. But if you play a deck that was doing pretty poorly against Prowess, you're going to do so much worse with this card in the format. So that's our video. I mean, if you think I'm nuts, let me know in the comments section below. If you think I'm spot on, let me know in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe to join my MTG tribe, or Clever Lumimancer is going to turn to you till it's banned.